We're going to share with you today what we have discovered about David De Pape, who is the guy who assaulted Paul Pelosi. He has had one very messed up life. Um, he has been accused of paedophilia. His wife was in jail with a bail set at $2 million. And he was going through all sorts of mental disturbances before he made this attack on Paul. David was married to a nudist activist whose first name is Gypsy. They had two children together, and he raised their younger daughter, Indy, as his own for a number of years. That relationship broke down eventually, and David left. And then the children started to remember, after David left, they started to remember incidents of abuse from David, sexual abuse. And they worked through it with their mother, Gypsy. David maintains that these memories are false memories that have been implanted by Gypsy into his children. You already know, before we do any deep dive, that this man is not mentally sound anyway. But his complete and repeated denial of ever having assaulted his children is very interesting, given that Gypsy was later jailed for stalking a 14-year-old boy. The boy that Gypsy was stalking was a friend of her son, which is also David's son. She sent him a love letter, which his parents intercepted, and that led to a restraining order being placed on Gypsy. But Gypsy broke that restraining order by continuing to contact the boy and continuing to try to use her son as an intermediary to send messages to him. Now, this boy, who I guess is probably 18 now, he must be, this was a while ago. Gypsy told him that they'd been together in past lives and that she was this boy's mother in a past life. And this is a theme that is recurrent in both David and Gypsy's writings. Indeed, their writings are almost like a mirror image of each other. They both believe in Lazarus, which is a non-physical entity who is meant to be a guiding spirit. You can look up information, it's a cult, essentially. And they both believe in multiple lives, fairies, and spirits taking on alternate forms in this world so that they are able to see them. It's all very new age, hippie-ish philosophy that they are both into. I'm going to read the charges of molestation that were brought against Gypsy. Her real name is Gypsy Taub. Here we go. And this was reported in the county of Alameda in California. 2019. So the boy was 14 years old in 2019. So he's still under 18. He's still only 16, 17 years old. On the 25th of February 2019, VI, because they can't use his real name, although she uses his real name on her website, a 14-year-old boy and his parents came and reported that Gypsy was annoying him via unwanted communications, emails, phone calls. Additionally, they reported that she had talked of exposing her own 14-year-old son to ibogaine, which is an illegal drug. Taub's own son denied these allegations to Child Protective Services, and the family and the children used to be friends but had a falling out in late 2018. The 14-year-old's mother called to report the emails had increased in frequency. Officer Singh found 44 emails had been sent from Gypsy to the 14-year-old between the 31st of January 2019 and the 6th of May 2019. Some of the content is reviewed below. Gypsy wrote an email to the 14-year-old using his first name as the introduction. The email proceeded to state, "I just wanted you to know that I really don't appreciate your slimy, backstabbing behaviour. I really don't appreciate you coming to my house and shitting on my soul behind my back." The email goes on to talk about how the 14-year-old's mother is a negative influence on him. And Gypsy writes, "In conclusion, I want to say the longer that you let your mother mindfuck you and ruin your life whilst you are hiding and lying, the more fake and superficial your relationships with people will be." So you can see that she is a perfectly balanced human being, yeah? This Gypsy is perfectly sane. On Wednesday, February the 6th, she wrote again and said, "Hey love, it was great to see you today. I enjoyed the conversation and the hug." March the 6th, she wrote a 4.5-page email, the highlights of which are, "Your mother successfully destroyed your relationship with Daniel. He is not the first one and he will not be the last one until you learn to think for yourself, until you learn to stand up for what is right, until you become a free thinker and a free spirit." March 28th, 1-page email. "That's your very lame excuse for backstabbing me and talking shit about me behind my back while to my face acting like you're my friend. As far as I am concerned, I never want to see you again unless you feel sincere remorse and are willing to take full responsibility for your words and actions." This is somebody else's mother writing to a 14-year-old kid at the end of the day. This is bad. On the 1st of May 2019, she wrote a 2-page email. "I know that you have feelings for me. You have made it very clear in very beautiful ways. I have feelings for you too. I feel that I have known you for a very long time. We came to this planet at a crucial time to help humanity. We can help humanity survive and strive and facilitate global transformation of consciousness. My kids and I are very powerful people, and so are you." You see, this is that insane new age hippie stuff, which, this was David's wife for many years, and both of them share this strange philosophy and belief. On the 1st of May 2019, she wrote an email saying, "Ibo is really amazing. This is about that drug, which I'd never heard of. Among other things, it makes you really telepathic. A few days ago, I took a strong microdose of Ibo. I was chilling with my eyes closed. I asked the universe to show me what kind of relationship I had with you in one of our more significant past lifetimes. In response, I literally felt contractions like I was going to give birth. They weren't the strong kind, like the ones you get in the beginning of labour, but the message was conveyed clearly that I was your mother. That would explain why I am so furious at your mother and why I have this nearly insane desire to protect you. Yeah, so she's recognising that this is not natural, and she's trying to justify it by saying that this was a past life relationship that they had. And this kid's 14. Keep in mind, again, this kid is 14 and this is his friend's mother. On the 1st of June, she wrote a few comments about the lyrics of Lover, 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 Lover. I think that's the song by The Doors, isn't it? I'm not sure. It doesn't even say in this criminal report. On the 6th of June, she sent a letter to the 14-year-old via her son, but it was intercepted by a school official. The school official reported that this has been an ongoing issue with Gypsy attempting to contact this boy whilst at school. The letter is 3 pages in length and talks of legal age of consent in other states. It says the following: as far as dating goes, for instance, the law makes it clear that dating is not illegal as long as there is no sexual intercourse. I know you like me a lot. I am not blind, and you did tell me that you love me. I very much appreciate your confession. On the 10th of June, that's when the 14-year-old's family served Gypsy with the restraining order. And then after that restraining order was issued, Gypsy called the police to request a welfare check, saying that the boy was cutting himself. The welfare check proved okay, nothing of concern. Then the 14-year-old's family requested law enforcement assistance to keep her from continuing to annoy the child. I'm just reading through this now. I think that's the end of the emails between the 14-year-old and Gypsy, and that's only an overview. That's like, what, 7 or 8 out of this 65 that she reportedly sent? The investigation found Gypsy was in violation of the temporary restraining order, which occurred when the emails and links in this report were sent to the 14-year-old on June the 14th, as the order had already been served. And that was a criminal. That's like one of the criminal complaints against her. And I'm going to read. I will read out the letter that she sent to this 14-year-old. I'm not going to say his name, even though she says it multiple times on her website. If you're really that interested, you can visit her website. It's mynakedtruth.tv. I advise you don't. So this is the love letter that she sent the 14-year-old boy. Hi, Fifi. Well, I can say that because that's a nickname. Your mother called the police and I told them that I sent you 30... No, I read that wrong. Let's start again. Your mother called the police and told them that I sent you 30 sexually explicit emails. Of course, considering what a jealous, possessive, controlling, lying loser she is, this doesn't surprise me at all. Of course, she never gave them the emails because if she did, they would know that she is lying. Turns out that she did give them the emails. We've just seen that proof. If she got to my emails on her own without your help and without your consent, I won't hold it against you. However, knowing your past track record of immature behaviour, it surely seems like you played an active role in this bullshit. The emails were personal in nature, and it is really fucked up that you would get your mother involved. Really? Is it that fucked up that a 14-year-old would talk to his mother about somebody else's mother who was sending him explicit emails? I don't think so. Anyway, are you ever going to grow up, or will you always stay in kindergarten? You know full well how that spam button works. You know full well that all you needed to do to stop receiving my emails was to block the email address and you would never receive another email. I never created multiple email accounts to spam you with. It is clear as daylight that you were willing to read the emails I sent and to continue receiving them. That's why you never blocked me. Besides, there was never anything sexually explicit in those emails. I sent you a ton of music, and some of those songs were romantic in nature but not sexually explicit. There is a hell of a lot of music I could have sent you that is way more sexual than anything I ever sent, such as, for instance, Closer by 9 Inch Nails. I could have sent that, but I did not. If anything, I find that song is funny, and I never did send it, nor any other songs that exist in abundance that are openly sexual. The kind of music you kids listen to these days, you see what she's done? She is calling this guy, she knows that it's a kid. The kind of music you kids listen to, subconsciously she knows that she is talking to a child here. Right. The kind of music that you kids listen to these days, like degrading gangster rap, is blatantly offensive to women and blatantly pornographic in the worst sense of the word. If you can handle that, then you should have no problems handling Layla by Eric Clapton or Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd, especially coming from a woman you have a crush on. Again, we don't know that he does have a... We've only got her words saying that this kid's got a crush on her. I don't think he has. Right, back to the letter. It is true that it is illegal to have sex with a minor. I never once approached you sexually. As far as dating goes, for instance, the law makes it clear that dating is not illegal as long as there is no sexual intercourse. So not only did I never break the law with regards to you, I never even came close to breaking the law. Your mother has yet to find the police code that prohibits sharing a YouTube song with a minor. No judge and no DA would ever consider taking on such a case. I bet they would get a good laugh out of it and tell their friends and family about how insane, how jealous, and how controlling mothers can get. Well, you know why this is funny? Because, you see, she's in jail now after saying to this boy that the DA would never have a case and they'd laugh it out of the courtroom. Gypsy has ended up in jail. Right, back to this letter. It's clear that your mother wants to be the only woman in your life. She is the only one who is acting inappropriate and immoral, not only towards me, but more importantly towards you. Not only does she want to be the only woman in your life, she wants to be the only person in your life. That's why she separated you from your father, and that's why she keeps going out of her way to separate you from your friends. You've told Daniel that she has done it before, and in Daniel's case, it's clear. Oh my god, this letter is actually like, it's going on forever. I'll try and get through it. It's like 4 pages long. Stick with me, because this is getting even more insane. I want you to know that I love you unconditionally as a friend, and that is not going to change no matter what you do or say. As far as anything past friendship goes, you are going to have to earn that by being honest and taking responsibility, in brackets, acknowledging your wrongdoings and making amends, and of course making your best efforts to change. I know that you like me a lot, I am not blind, and you did tell me that you love me. I very much appreciate your confession. I will never use it to humiliate you. I will never use it against you. It was very beautiful and very courageous of you, and you have earned my love forever by making that confession, and even way before that. This is where it gets really fucking insane. Really fucking insane. Here we go. I strongly believe that Daniel and I have been with you in many past lives. On the day that you told me that you loved me, you were radiating light of such high frequencies, I recognised you even more than I had before. Not only were you with us in Lemuria, which Daniel and I had already thought, but you were one of the most powerful people in Lemuria. Lemuria is the most highly evolved civilization that has ever existed on this planet, where spiritual healers and magicians lived high up in the mountains, and the only way to get there was through teleporting. I will add some Lemuria tapes to my collection on my Google Drive. in the Lazarus 101 folder so you can listen and learn more about Lemuria. It's truly beautiful. You should already have a link to it. I sent it to you a long time ago. You are not just an old soul, you are ancient in terms of spirituality and all the magic that you have been involved in. It's sad for me to see you wallow in darkness. I understand the pain that you are in, and it's a lot deeper than you realise. But there is also such a thing as free will. You have made tremendous progress in the past couple of months, but you still have better options than the ones you have been choosing. You do have free will, and over time it can override all your trauma and all your confusion if you would but practice it more actively and more consciously. Let me explain our old conflict with you. I am going to break it down into smaller components, and please correct me if I am wrong. Things went south after I sent you an email saying that Daniel doesn't want to be friends with Leo and Skylar anymore because they are betraying him by being friends with Stella, knowing full well that she treats him like shit. Wow. So this is a mother getting involved in the child's friendship group, completely sticking her nose in. You was doing the same thing as Leo and Skylar. You were still being friends with Stella and not standing up for Daniel, not confronting Stella. Who the fuck is Stella? Yeah. Wow. I feel that you got mad at me for ruining your friendship with Daniel by telling him that he shouldn't be friends with his old friends who are not standing up for him. You are not a real friend. Since you have a lot of shame due to your severe early childhood abuse, instead of feeling remorse, you often feel shame and guilt. Guilt is a very destructive emotion, and according to Lazarus, it putrefies into resentment very quickly. So you start resenting the person you wronged. It was clear in the case of our conflict with you. Now that you were filled with rage and resentment, instead of taking responsibility for your own shortcomings as a friend, you decided to kill the messenger and punish me for what I said. You went and complained to your mother about my conversation about ibogaine with you. You exploited my trust and violated your own promise to keep our conversation confidential. Child's friend's mother asking 14-year-old boy to keep secrets from his own mother. Not great. Not a good thing. I'm sure you did it out of your own pain and confusion. It was wrong, but we have forgiven you. Then when you started to see what came of your betrayal, it was very hard for you to forgive yourself, because deep down you are incredibly loving and deeply responsible for your impact on the people you love. You are a lot like me in that regard. Nothing is harder for me than forgiving myself, and you are the same way. Since you never fully forgave yourself, you keep fucking up. If you ever listen to that self-forgiveness tape, one of the most important things in it is Lazarus saying that if you don't forgive yourself, you will not be able to change and you will keep fucking up and hurting people until you learn to forgive yourself. So, if not for your own sake, then for the sake of those you love, please forgive yourself, and I promise to do the same. Let's grow together and motivate each other to grow. For me, besides the love itself, motivation to grow is the most important aspect of my loving relationships with people, especially romantic ones. Lazarus says that through intimate relationships, though not necessarily sexual, you can transcend all your limitations. That's why I choose to fall in love and work through my issues in the reflection of the other person. My approach to relationships is vastly different from most people's. For me, it's not about looking for someone else to make me happy and whole. It's about making myself happy and whole, about learning, growing, and healing while enjoying the love that I feel for the other person and the love that the other person feels for me. Wow! And finally, I would like to address an old issue. You seem to be very uptight about us talking to your dad. We are assuming that you told him a lot of fucked up shit about us and now feel embarrassed. I want you to know that we understand your state of confusion and your resentment towards us that came from guilt. We have long since forgiven you. We don't care what you told our dad about us, and I'm sure your dad will understand and forgive you too. Water under the bridge, Fifi. Daniel and I love you unconditionally. We are deeply concerned about you, especially if we do move to Mexico. We want you to be with your dad full time. I am willing to do anything and everything in my power to help you reunite with your dad. I am a very powerful person, as you may have noticed. I can and am willing to help you in every way that you need help. I feel very strongly that you were my child in at least one of my past lives, and probably more than one. You are free to believe me or not, but I do love you as much as I love my own kids. I will never stop loving you no matter what you do or say. I love you forever unconditionally, and I'm sure Daniel does too. End of letter. Thank God. Was that even worth it? I think the point I'm trying to make is that David, who attacked Paul Pelosi, has a very, very messed up ex-wife. And on the day he attacked Paul Pelosi, his ex-wife posted on her blog the testimonies from her children saying what a great mother she was. And I can imagine that may well have, that could have really tipped him over the edge. You've got this crazy woman who is in jail for stalking a 14-year-old boy who has told your children that you raped them when they were little, and here are those children saying what a fantastic mother she is. So it could have been right-wing rage, but I think more than likely he read this and he realised that his relationship with his children was irreparable at this stage, that he was never going to be able to build that bridge between what this psychotic mother of theirs had said and what his reality was. And he lost the plot. I reckon he completely lost the plot. How he ended up at Paul Pelosi's, I don't know. This people are saying there's rumours that he might have been picked up by Paul. That would be too convenient. You've got somebody who is very right wing. You know, he's alt-right. He's one of the friendly friends. He's cozy. He's into all the 4chan subculture. So the chances of Paul Pelosi picking up a guy who was into that sort of stuff, slim. And I don't think there's any chance that this guy was a male prostitute. He was homeless for a while. So we do know that David De Pape was homeless for a short while. He found himself accommodation at the start of COVID-19 for $300 a month. He was happy with that accommodation. At least it got him off the streets. But he would have been aware of who Paul Pelosi was, and you know, the likelihood is that this was politically, the target was political. However, the motivation itself probably wasn't political. It was probably a complete mental break. And to give you an idea of how his wife's insane beliefs reflect his own, he talks about fairies on his blog. He talks about how a fairy takes on the form of a bird that visits him, because he wouldn't be able to see the fairy if it wasn't in a form that he understood. And he completely believes that there are fairies around him and that he's having conversations with them, literally away with the fairies. David's daughter, Indy, made an update on her blog where she talks about her relationship with her father. I will read that. So her blog has been memory hold. It's completely gone from the internet. I've got a few little clips that I stored yesterday. She was saying that her mother kicked David out when she was 13 because of toxic behaviour. And they got back in touch with each other this year, but she stopped communicating with David when she held on to the belief that David had assaulted her when she was younger. But you've got to keep in mind that David was kicked out when Inti was 13 years old, and it was only after David was kicked out that she started having memories of David assaulting her when she was before 7 years old. So that is a little weird. But Inti was very forgiving about her father. She said, the attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, comes as a shock to me. I didn't see this coming. I wasn't aware of his blog, friendlyfriends.com, but it made me happy to see that he had strong opinions about important issues that our world is facing today. He wanted to make a difference, and he was trying to be a good man. But that ties into their whole hippie lifestyle, based on forgiveness and past lives and conflict resolution. It was quite a touching message. If this guy really had assaulted her, if David De Pape had really assaulted her before she was 7, then I don't know if she would have been quite so forgiving as that. I find it very, very strange, and I can't say, I mean, for goodness sake, David is hardly the good guy in this. You know, he has just attacked Paul Pelosi. Paul Pelosi has had to have surgery. But I do feel as if these allegations of early sexual abuse on his children may well have been planted by his mother, who we have just been discussing stalking a 14-year-old boy. There's not a lot else I can tell you about David. You can read his blog on friendlyfriends.com. You can join, it's free, you can join, probably use an anonymous account to join, because otherwise you're going to get people saying, why are you a member of this site? And he writes about the usual alt-right talking points, transgenderism, Jewish influence, communism, BLM, anti-vaccine, AI, transhumanism, the usual stuff that you would expect on any right-wing blog. So my conclusion is that yes, it was a politically motivated attack, but it was mental issues and family issues that had led him to this breaking point when he realised that he was not going to have any further contact with his kids. On the 27th of October, he probably snapped. And there might have been other factors, other things going on in his life, who knows. I'm going to put all the links to all the blogs. I'm going to include Inti's blog, even though it's been taken down, because it might come back up again. I'll put all the links in the description. Thank you for watching ENAMI TV. Please like and subscribe below. We bring you the news powered by artificial intelligence as it happens. Take care.